deposit in current account exceeding 1 crore. In that there were 3 points.
Turnover for a business person greater than 60 lakhs.
Correct.
Receipts exceeding 10 lakhs. Then TDS or TCS collectively should exceed 25,000. For senior citizen it is 50,000.
It should be greater than or equal to 50,000. Then deposit in savings account 50 lakhs or more. Here also it is greater than or equal to 50 lakhs. Okay. Come. Yesterday you were there? Yeah.
So you had said that if we fail to disclose, then he'll be liable for 10 lakhs as per black money.
Yeah, correct.
Now, in case the son is having signing authority and the mother is having the account, so will both of them will be
Yes,
liable for 10 lakhs?
it was the duty of both the persons to file the return.
So both of them,
And whoever doesn't fulfill the duty has to suffer the punishment.
and both of them are not fulfilling the duty.
Yes, yes. Notes complete? 139.5 बताओ 139.5. मैं तुमको स्केल गिफ्ट करूंगा एक दिन. Yeah, continue.
Revised return में the original return is filed on the or before the due date, and the revision can be done multiple times. But revision.
Wait, you are the one from Thane? Okay, because yesterday some student from Thane had taken admission for face-to-face only. Yeah. But you saw yesterday lecture. Yesterday was YouTube live only. Okay, 1 hour only. You couldn't tolerate much. No, but you cover up properly. Yeah. Sorry.
Revision can be done multiple times, but it has to be like done by 31st December or before the assessment order is passed.
Before completion assessment, whichever is earlier.
Yeah, whichever.
Okay, and then if the return was filed on time and later on in revised return there was a loss, can the loss be carried forward? Yes, because the revised return will replace the original return. 139.1, just random, let me see. 139.1. Yes. What is the heading of the section? Just give me the heading, I'll be happy. Voluntary return. Voluntary means what?
By yourself.
Yes, by yourself you have to file the return. Don't expect government will follow up. On your own you have to file the return. Okay, now see here in the chapter assessment procedures, I told you we'll do the chapter in 4 parts. Part 1 returns, part 2 inquiry, part 3 assessment, part 4 other sections. In this we have already started with part 1, that is returns. Now see, in returns what was the first section? 139.1 voluntary return, 139.3 loss return. Keep speaking, otherwise you sleep. You have two choices, either to speak or sleep. So better to speak. So 139.1 voluntary return, 139.3 loss return, 139.4 belated return, 139.5 revised return, 139.9 defective return. After that next section is 140 capital A. There is one section called 140 capital A. Look at this. This is a small section. This is on self-assessment. You know what this section says? Every assessee should himself compute his income and himself compute his tax. Plus he himself should pay the tax. Feel these two red words. Himself compute, himself pay. And what to pay? Tax along with interest and late filing fees if any. There is a late filing fees or late filing of return. So along with interest and late filing fees, whatever your tax is due, you yourself should pay. So basically what this section is trying to say, don't expect government will follow up. You have to do it on your own. And if assessee says, I don't know how to I don't know how to compute the income. So if you don't know, you can consult a CA, that's your problem. But computation of 5 heads of income, it is to be done on your own. Yes, later on we will check whether you have done the computation honestly or not. That checking will be done by our team. But whether we check or not, first it is your duty to do it on your own. And then whatever tax is payable, you have to pay it on your own. Now see, when I explain this section, suddenly a doubt will come. Sir, then what was section 139.1? Because even in 139.1, I hammered on one thing, voluntary return. Voluntary means voluntary. You yourself should file the return. See, I have written here for distinction. 139.1 also says himself file. And here also himself. Everywhere the stress is on self. So then what is the difference between 139.1 and 140A? Yes, I have clearly given you the hint. If you see the screen properly, if you have good observation, you will notice. See, everywhere himself is common. But what is the uncommon word? File, compute, pay. These are 3 different activities. And if you are genuinely doing a proper articleship, you know in articleship, you have seen in the office of CA, 3 activities happen. Which 3 activities? Activity 1 is compute the income of the client. Means I am thinking from a CA's point of view. If I am a CA, what is my first activity? I will compute the income of my client. And that computation is done on my laptop, etc. It is done in my system. And then whatever is the tax I have to pay. Tax is generally paid in banks. See, banks are authorized to collect the income tax on behalf of IT department. Yes, online payment is also possible, but you have to generally pay the taxes in bank. And then filing is in the website of income tax department. So you should feel these are 3 different activities. 140A says that you compute on your own, pay on your own. But after you have computed the income, after you have paid the tax, what is the next step? File the return. That also you have to do it on your own. That is written in section 139.1. In short, all this you know because this is what you do in a office of CA. But who is requiring you to do it on your own? 140A and 139.1. This section requires you to file on your own. This section requires you to compute and pay on your own. Okay. And here government has clearly mentioned along with interest and late filing fees. Because you know many people what mentality they have. Why should I pay interest on my own? Only if they levy, I will pay. It's not like that. See, once you know there is a fault on your part of late filing, then you yourself has to pay the interest. Yes, there are some penalties in Income Tax Act that you don't pay it on your own. See, there are 3 things. Taxes, in fact 4 things. Taxes, interest, late filing fees and penalty. Tax, interest, late filing fees and penalty. Penalty you don't pay. Penalty only if the IT department imposes, then only you have to pay. Because you know penalties can be waived many times. So you don't have to necessarily pay it on your own. But interest and late filing fees cannot be waived. So once you know you are under a fault, you yourself have to pay interest and late filing fees. Penalty no need to pay. Like see, in real life, when you don't maintain your books of accounts, there is a penalty of 25,000. Just for knowledge I am giving, if you don't maintain the books of accounts, there is a penalty of 25,000 under section 271 capital A. So don't be so honest. Oh, I didn't maintain the books, it was my fault, I will pay the penalty. Don't be so honest person that on your own only you pay the penalty. Penalties you are not supposed to pay it on your own. Only if the department levies you have to pay. But this becomes part of your self-assessment. What? Interest and late filing fees. So this was small section is done. Now see, if you look at the summary of the chapter, part 1 is complete now. See here, there is one more section which I would prefer to take it at a later stage. There is something called updated return, which you heard about. Whether you heard or not, that's a different thing, but I will be teaching at a later stage. What thing? Updated return, okay. So as of now, this part is done. Next part is inquiry, then assessment, then other section. It looks like there are only 4 things, but once you go deep inside, you will find there are so many things. That time you will value this summary. That time you will feel whatever sir has taught, ultimately everything is in 4 parts. So keep looking at this summary again and again. So now what is the second part of the chapter? Inquiry. Now look at this. See, now my plan is what you know. I will go with this flowchart now. Means that same summary which I have shown you right now, 4 parts, I have written in a different pattern. See, in my summary, there are 4 things. Can you see these 4 things? Part 1, returns. Part 2, inquiry. Part 3, assessment. And part 4 I have not plotted here because there are other sections. It cannot fit in this chart. Okay. So in short, this is the same summary, but it is just at the start I had given a summary in a plain manner. Plain simple 4 parts. But this is little analytical. This gives you a flow also. Flow in the sense, first we file the return, then inquiry, then assessment. Feel the flow. So this gives you a flow also, and this is an indirect way of giving you the summary only. Okay. So tell me, what is our status right now? Part 1 we have done, starting from section 139 1 to 140A. This we have done. Now after this, my next plan is to discuss inquiry. And then after that, assessment. Even in assessment, broadly there are 2 parts. Timely assessment, belated assessment. In timely assessment also, summary, regular, best judgment, income escaping. Okay. So this is our forthcoming explanation. But we'll see when it comes. Right now, let us discuss inquiry. So section 142 we are starting. Tell me, here what question should come to your mind? What inquiry? Who will do the inquiry? Why to do the inquiry? How to do the inquiry? Listen to my 4 questions carefully. What inquiry? Who will do the inquiry? Why to do inquiry? And how to do inquiry? So first, what inquiry? Inquiry is about knowing your true income. Inquiry is about knowing the true income of the assessee. And who is going to do the inquiry? Assessing officer. 2 questions are answered. What inquiry? Inquiry about knowing your true income. And who will do the inquiry? Assessing officer. And why? Because he doesn't trust your return. You already disclose your income in the return, but since he does not have any trust on your return, see, in your return you have disclosed all 5 heads of income, but who knows whether you are honestly shown or you are manipulated. So since the assessing officer is not having any trust, he is doing inquiry. So this was why inquiry, because he doesn't trust. Last point is how to do the inquiry. That is the main thing. So 4 things I wanted to answer. What inquiry? Who does inquiry? Why inquiry? Now the main point is how this inquiry is done. So ask me how. Okay, now if you ask me, you have to understand properly. See, to do the inquiry, there are 3 methods. If I am an assessing officer, I got 3 methods of doing inquiry. I am explaining how this inquiry is done. So the answer is there are 3 ways of doing the inquiry. But see, whatever may be the way of doing the inquiry, the ultimate objective is what? To determine the true income of the assessee. Imagine I am assessing officer, I have already got your return. But in the return, whatever income you have shown, I don't trust you. I want to know what is your true income. So for this, I can do 3 things. One thing is, I can send a notice under section 142(1), and then 142(2) and 142(2)A In all, there will be three things you will be studying. So first is 142.1. As per this section, the assessing officer can send a RAI notice. Can you hear? What did I say? RAI notice. You know, RAI is a short form used by me. Huh? It is not a word given in the law. But I have created a short form. There are three types of notice which I have codified into RAI. So I will always call it as RAI notice. So there are three types of notice he can send you. You know, R stands for what? If someone has not filed the return, he will send a notice to you asking you to, dear, you have not filed the return, please file the return. This notice will require the assessee to file the return if he has not filed it up to the due date of filing the return, which is 31st July, 31st October or 30th November, as the case may be. If you haven't filed the return up to the due date, you will get a notice. And see, here you should get the feeling of inquiry. You know why this feeling you will get? There are so many people not filing the return. But assessing officer is sending me a letter that, dear Shirish Vyas, you have not filed the return. So that means he is not just going to stop by taking my return. He is going to further dig into the matter. Because there are so many people who don't file the return and they are not going to send notice to each and every one. But since they have sent a notice to me, I should be scared. I should feel I am going to be inquired deeply now. Because see, do you agree there are many people not filing the return? But amongst them, if he has sent notice to me, that's a sign of what? They are going to conduct a detailed inquiry on me. Because otherwise, why would they bother to ask for my return? So in short, this section says, if anyone has not filed a return, beware, you can get a notice wherein assessing officer will ask you to file the return. And this notice is called notice under 142.1. Okay. See, these sections you have to remember by heart. Wherever I feel the section is not necessary, I will give you comfort, don't worry. But this chapter without section, it will go literally bouncer. You have to by heart the section. And trust me, remembering the section is not a big deal. In fact, with section only you will get more confidence. Soon you will realize if you take the things in positive manner, you will feel more confident if you have studied with section. If I ask you just ignore the section, understand the concept, you will never feel confident. With section, if you remember, you will feel more confident that I know everything. So please take this section seriously. Huh? So what is 142.1? This section says assessing officer can send a notice to the assessee requiring him to file the return if he hasn't filed it up to the due date of filing return. Till due date he will not disturb. He will wait for 31st July and 31st October or 30th November as the case may be, and once the due date goes and if he feels someone's return is missing, he can send a notice. Obviously he will not send to each and every person not filing, but he can send a notice. Okay, this is the power of assessing officer. So this was no, this will not be called as belated return. See, when such returns are filed, I don't know whether you filed the return online. So there is one option, return under 139.1 or 142.1. So you have to click on this. See, broadly there are two returns. See, belated revised is a facility. Belated revised is a facility. Facility means you can file late also. You can revise also. But primarily returns are only two types. One is voluntary, other is demanded. Did you hear properly? Voluntary, demanded. If it is voluntary, filed on your own, we call 139.1. If it is demanded, 142.1. So broadly there are two returns only. Okay. See, although in my theory different sections have come, so that was just provisions. But broadly if you analyze, there are two types of return. When you yourself file, it's called voluntarily filed under 139.1. But if you fail to file, if they ask you to file, it is return voluntarily filed or demanded by them. That is 142.1. So whenever you get such notice, when you file the return online, there is one option. Is it written under 139.1 or 142.1? So you have to click on 142.1. Okay. But see, this is just one of the three notices in RAI. Did you see the word RAI? R for return. A stands for he can ask for your books of accounts. Now imagine you already filed a return. But looking at your return, he doesn't have any trust. He feels like checking your books of accounts. So he will ask for books of accounts of the assessee. Okay. And asking your books of account, that itself means he is behind me. Because after my books of account, God knows what he will do. See, this is a sign of what? That they are going to investigate you in deep. And to find out your true income, they are doing all these efforts. Okay. So A for accounts. But see, they can demand accounts of maximum 3 preceding years. Like see, I filed the return of 24-25. Imagine I filed the return of 24-25. So since the return is of 24-25, so obviously 24-25 books of account he will demand. Plus, he can also ask for preceding 3 years books of accounts. What are the preceding 3 years? 23-24, 22-23, 21-22. So these 3 books also he can demand in addition to the current year books. See, actually his focus should be on the current year. Since my return pertains to 24-25, he should be asking me books of 24-25. But sometimes current year figures are linked with the past year's figure. Like one silly example, opening stock of current year is closing stock of last year. Because in current year all the balances brought down comes from the last year only. So sometimes he may need past accounts. Actually he is not investigating my past. Here he is investigating my current year. So actually he will ask for current year's books. But if he wants, he can also ask for past books of accounts. But maximum 3 years only. Maximum 3 years. Not beyond that. See, here many students ask me doubt. But sir, we have heard that we have to preserve the books for 6 years. You know why did I take a pause? We have to preserve the books for? I purposely took a pause because I knew everyone will say 8 years. 8 years is in Companies Act. In income tax law, you have to preserve the books for 6 years. In income tax, you have to preserve your books for 6 years. So this can come to your mind. Firstly, you had a wrong knowledge. So I rectified your knowledge. But now after rectification, still you should have a doubt. But then we preserve the books for 6 years. And here they are saying, you can ask books of only preceding 3 years. See, the logic of 6 years is what you know. That you will understand in another section, section 147. See, soon we will do this thing. Income escaping assessment. At that time you will understand, oh, that is the reason they are asking you to preserve the books of 6 years. So right now don't bring that point that we have to preserve books for 6 years. Then what is the point of preserving for so many years? That point you will understand in the theory of income escaping assessment. Right now your thinking should be what? He is inquiring my current year na. So he should ask for current year's books. But if he wants, he can additionally demand books of preceding 3 years along with the current year's books. So this was A. Then I stands for he can ask for any information as he thinks fit. I for information. See, information can be anything. It depends upon case to case. Like see, I have got a return of your income. And now I will see you are in chemical business, textile business. Looking at the nature of the business, I might feel I should ask for his passbook. I should ask for his bank statement. I should ask for a confirmation from advertiser. Means anything I can ask for. It depends upon what is there in your 5 heads of income. I can ask for any information. See, actually I stands for information, and information is a general word. He can ask for any information as he thinks fit. He means who? Assessing officer. Don't forget, in the whole picture, who is the main hero? Assessing officer is behind you. Okay. We will call this person as AO. AO. So whenever I say AO, it is the assessing officer. So 3 types of notices are there. See, these notice, it's not necessary they will send to everyone. They may send. It is just, as a student, you should be aware that income tax department can suddenly issue any of these 3 notices. First was, if you have not filed a return, file the return. And if you have filed a return, produce your accounts. And if they are not just happy with the account, they want further information, furnish information, anything they can ask. And they asking all this, it's a sign of what? They are behind me. Okay. So this was 140 to 1. See, basically what is the objective of studying all this? You are soon going to become a CA. So you should know what income tax department can do, then only you can guide your client. Na? Tell me, what is the time of this notice? At what time you can get?
After the due date.
So see, for this I have made a drawing over here. Look at this. You understand? Self-explanatory. So see, till the due date of filing return, it's like do not disturb. Assess is telling government, please don't disturb. Let us file our return first and then you do what you want. So till due date, they will never disturb you. But as soon as the due date is passed, thereafter, can you see this portion which I highlighted? This portion. During this period, any time they can send a RAI notice. They may send, they may not send. But if they send, definitely they will send in this period only. Because this is the time during which they have to do the assessment. And what is the heading of the section? Inquiry before assessment. Whatever this inquiry is happening, what is the objective? Look at the flow. After the inquiry, what is the main thing to be done? Assessment. And the deadline of assessment, I explained in the last lecture. What is the deadline of completing the assessment? 12 months from the end of assessment year. So since this is the deadline by which the assessing officer has to complete your assessment, so it is but obvious that this 142 inquiry will happen during this period only. Okay. So whenever you have a doubt, sir, when this happens, I am not seen in my articleship. See, this is a frequently asked question to me. Sir, I am doing articleship since so many years, but I have never seen such notice. See, these notices you may get, you may not get. And even if you get, you can get any time during this patch. This patch. Okay. Then, this was 140 to 1. Next is 140 to 2. Your assessing officer will gather information from other sources. Can you tell me what is other sources? Other than the assessee. See, RAI notice was targeting the assessee. Assessee, you file the return. Assessee, you produce the accounts. Assessee, you furnish the information. You are demanding everything from the assessee. But you know, sometimes assessee is not giving the information fully and truly. Imagine you are an assessee and you have definitely done some manipulation in your return. So obviously you will be scared. So the moment assessing officer will say, you produce this, you submit that, you will always give you some incomplete and false information because you are scared. So if assessing officer feels that assessee has not submitted full-fledged information, he has got right to gather information from other sources. Other sources can be any source other than assessee. Like, he can inquire with GST department. He can inquire with GST department to cross-check your sales. See, in your books of account, you might have declared sales of say 5 crores. But he doubts you. He has asked for many proof also. And you submitted all the false evidences. In right notice, he has asked for various information, huh? But sometimes assessing officer is not happy. He feels there is something incomplete. Something is incomplete. So he can consult the GST department, because in GST department also you have to disclose your sales. GST is also on the sales, huh? So it can be cross verified. See, GST department is just one example, huh? In the section 142 nothing is mentioned. This section simply says other sources. In fact, they have not even used the word other sources. You know, this section says AO can make any such inquiry as he thinks fit. Why I am using the word other source, you know, so that I can analyze and distinguish in your mind that here we were targeting the assessee to give the information. Now, after targeting the assessee, still you want something more. So, obviously, this will be from other sources. And see, other sources can be like this also. Huh? They will talk to your suppliers. They will talk to your advertisers. They will talk to your printers from whom you get your printing done. Contractors. Any party. Means other than assessee, they can talk to anyone in this world, which can be GST department, etc., anyone. That is called 142.2. But what is the purpose? I told you at the start only, na? Why this is happening? He wants to know your true income. Income shown in the return, he doesn't trust. So he wants to know the true income. So his objective is very clear. He wants to know what is your true income under the 5 heads. And to find out your true income, he is putting all such efforts. Okay. See, this section just explains, you know, what is maximum possible from their end. Whether they will do this or they won't do, that's their problem. As a student, you should be aware that they can do such things. You should not be shocked if you come to know they consulted with GST department, they communicate with the customs department. How can they do? They can do. Because 142.2 empowers assessing officer can do anything as he thinks fit. Wait, you have a doubt? Yeah.
Will the SSC be made aware that he's being
See, her doubt is what? When assessing officer gathers information from other sources like GST department, etc., will the assessee be updated? Not necessary. Assessing officer will say, why should I tell you? What I wanted from you, you didn't submit properly in right notice. Now I am inquiring GST department or I am talking to an advertiser. It is not my duty to inform you that with whom I am talking. It is my right. Because we want honest taxpayers. And if someone is not honest, we will inquire from anywhere and don't expect that he will update you, will inform you. Because see, obviously if assessing officer updates and informs the assessee, so assessee will manipulate. Like see, if I tell assessee, I am going to talk to your advertiser. So what assessee will, okay, talk. Before that I will talk to him. And he will take the advertiser in confidence. In short, her doubt was, is assessee informed about all this? No. It is behind his back. It's like behind your back, this inquiry is happening. Okay. And you will many times not even realize that I am being inquired, but I am not even informed. So this inquiry under 142.2 is behind your back. You will not even come to know what they are doing. Because see, if you come to know, you can manipulate. Wait, you also have a doubt, yeah. Okay, see, this is also one common doubt. Is it necessary that first assessing officer should try 142.1? And if he is not getting sufficient information, then only he should go for 142.2? No. This was a doubt, but the answer is no. There is no particular sequence. Imagine if I am assessing officer, I can skip this thing. Thinking what? There is no point in asking information from this assessee. He is a liar. And I have a past experience that such people will never reveal the information truly. So why should I waste my time in sending notice to the assessee? He is a liar, he is a bluff master. So it's better I will gather information from other sources. Means he can skip this completely. See, whatever I am explaining, anything can happen anyhow. This may happen, may not happen. It can happen anytime. Anytime during this period. Means here there is nothing fixed that it will happen only. And even if it happens, it's not necessary in a particular sequence only. Obviously, to a student when I am teaching, I have to teach it in a proper sequence. But in real life, doesn't mean it will happen in this sequence only, okay? Otherwise, see, if you look at the wordings of this section, I will give you the exact legal language. In 142.2 law is written, in order to obtain full information about the income of the assessee, AO can make any such inquiry as he thinks fit. Repeat, even you should be able to write such language. In order to obtain full information, the assessing officer can make any such inquiry as he thinks fit. This is the exact version of the law of 142.2. Now, can you tell me what is the meaning of this? In order to obtain full information. The sentence starts like this. You know why? Because the sentence assumes in 142.1, assessee might have given incomplete information, incomplete data. So now law is telling AO, okay, you feel incomplete. Now, in order to obtain full information, do anything you want. Means the sentence also starts like this. It says that if you feel incomplete from any way, then to gather full information, you can inquire anything. Means you can do anything. And anything means obviously he will explore other sources. Because if he wants something from assessee, what was less in 142.1? Everything is given in 142.1. Tell me, anything which you want from assessee, it is covered in 142.1 or not? What we want from an assessee? A return, accounts, and at the end what was I? Information. So everything we ask from assessee. Now if I want something else, it is obviously from other sources, okay? But it's not necessary that first you have to do 142.1 and then 142.2. You can directly jump to 142.2. Then, one more method of inquiry, 142.2 is special audit. Your assessing officer will issue a letter to you. In the letter he will write, you have to get your accounts audited. And what will be assessee's immediate reaction? Why? I just got my books of accounts audited and then only I filed a return. Now you are asking me to do the audit again? Yes. Because the audit which you already did was a formality audit. It was done by your CA. And we also know your CA is with you only. So don't count that audit as audit. That was a routine audit for formality. Now I am asking you to get your accounts audited by a chartered accountant nominated by government. It will not be your CA. It will be our CA. He will do the audit. And this audit is with an objective of to find out his true profits. Tell me, what is the purpose of an audit? Audit means what? To check the books of accounts and eventually to find out the true profit of the business. And the profit is the figure on which we pay tax, right? But whether the profit shown by you in your books is true or false, it has to be checked. And you will say that I have already got my accounts audited, but that audit we don't rely. Because you also know every assessee has got his own chartered accountant. He will make audit report in his favor only. So that's why this is a special audit. See the name also. Special audit means it is done specially to find out the true profit of the assessee. Okay. And this will be done by your CA or government CA. Government CA. See, in every section, are you getting the feeling of that they are inquiring the assessee? And everywhere the objective is common. They want to know your true income. Okay. Now see, this section 142.2a of special audit is a big section. I just give you a glimpse right now. I just gave you a glimpse. In detail, I will go now. Look. This section is in 4 parts. And I have made a keyword for that. Dakre. Say Dakre. The keywords are like this only. Dakre. Dakre. Now Dakre, D stands for direction. The assessing officer will issue a direction to the assessee requiring him to get his books audited by a chartered accountant nominated by government. Repeat, what did I say? The assessing officer shall issue a direction. Wait. First, let me make it clear. This direction is nothing but you are getting a letter. See, sometimes the letter which you get from IT department is called notice. But here it is not called notice, it is called direction. But casually you can say it's kind of income tax has sent a notice. But don't use the word notice in exam. They will cut the marks. You will use the word direction. You know what is the difference between notice and direction? Notice is simply asking you, please give this, please submit this, please do that. Here they are ordering you. You have to get your accounts audited. To direct someone means to order. So the tone is of order. And to give the feeling of that order tone, the word is direction. See, to direct means to give an order to the assessee that you have to get your books of accounts audited by a CA nominated by government. It's my order. That's why you have to use the word direction. See, be particular about certain words. You have to use this word only. Okay. So see the language once again. As per this section, the assessing officer can issue a, don't say notice, can issue a direction to the assessee requiring him to get his accounts audited by a CA nominated by. Don't say appointed. Appointment of auditor is done by the assessee. Have you studied this topic in audit? Appointment. Auditor is appointed by the assessee. Government will nominate that Mr. Shirish Vyas will be your auditor. They are naming. Nominate means name. ENY will be your auditor. See, they will not nominate ENY. They have their own panel of chartered accountants. IT department, they have their own panel of chartered accountants. From that panel, they will nominate anyone. So don't use the word appointed. What to say? Nominated. So see, I repeat, as per this section, the AO can issue a direction to the assessee requiring him to get his books audited by a CA nominated by government. Okay. So this was the point on direction. Compulsory. You know, this point says what? Even if your books of accounts are already audited, you have to do the audit again. It is mandatory. Otherwise, see, what will be the immediate reaction of the assessee? Why audit? Just now my books were audited. See, generally you do the audit and then you file the return. But after filing the return, suddenly you are getting a letter under 142 2A. So immediate reaction of assessee will be what? Why? I just got my books audited now. So law has made it clear, this audit is compulsory. Even if your books are already audited. Compulsory. Then the report of such audit should be submitted by assessee to the AO within the time prescribed by AO. Repeat. Keep repeating every word. See, I am very particular in using every word and sentence meticulously. I am not talking any casual thing. I am very precise. So I also want you to precisely by heart. It's not I will say 1000 matter and you have to remember 1 or 2 lines. I speak only that is required. Okay. So repeat. Audit report should be submitted by the assessee to the AO. Are you feeling? By the assessee to the AO within the time prescribed by AO. You know, this means what? When you get a letter, that letter is called direction. In the letter only they will say, You have to get your accounts audited by a chartered accountant nominated by government and submit the report within 70 days, 80 days, 90 days, 40 days, 50 days. Anything which AO will prescribe, and within that prescribed time you have to submit it. However, this time can be extended, but the total time should not exceed 180 days. What do I mean by this? However, this time can be extended. Like see, initially assessing officer will also give you a random time that give me the report in 80 days or say 70 days. And then after the actual audit starts, it may happen that the chartered accountant requires more time. He is not able to make up a report. So assessee can request, dear AO, you asked me to submit the report in 70 days, but in 70 days is not possible. Please extend the time. Okay, 90 days. Then again you can say, please extend. Okay, 125 days. It can be extended on and on till 180 days. 180 days you have to by heart. By heart 180 days. 180 days. 180 days. By heart? You have to by heart, then only you can by heart. 180 days. But you know what is a common mistake of a student? Generally, as you know, every lecture I will have take up. So when I ask the questions to my students, audit report should be submitted within what time? You know what is the answer of student? It should be submitted within 180 days. Wrong. How should you answer? It should be submitted within the time prescribed by AO. However, this time can be extended, but the total time. Are you feeling the word total? Total. Total means total. Original plus extension. I am not saying extra 180 you will get. So if originally you were given 70, extra 110 only you will get. That's why I am saying the total time, total should not exceed 180 days. Again the doubt will be, sir, from where to count 180 days? You will get a letter, na? So for example, I get the letter on 17th of July. Ignore 17th July. Countdown begins from next day. 18th July, 19th July, 20th July and so on. See, whenever you count the days, you skip that day. Count from the next day. Okay. So this 180 days counting depends upon when did you actually receive the letter. See, letter is my casual communication. What you should use? Direction. Okay. So 3 points I explained. Now, who will bear the expense? Expenses of the audit shall be determined by CIT or CCIT, and it will be paid by government. Why I took a pause? Generally a student will think it will be paid by the assessee. No, this expense will be borne by government. CIT, what did I say? CIT or CCIT will determine the amount, that how much has to be spent on audit, how much should be given to the chartered accountant. The deciding person is CIT, CCIT. Full form? Commissioner of Income Tax, Chief Commissioner of Income Tax. Either CIT or CCIT, any one of this person will decide how much has to be spent on the audit. But who will spend? Not CIT. CIT is an employee working in IT department. Imagine you are a CIT. Will you pay expense from your pocket? You are an employee there. He has got the authority to determine what should be the amount incurred on audit. But it will be borne by the government. Tell me why government? Why not assessee?
Because government,
Because it's the
assessment
second audit.
audit, the officer is only telling him to audit.
And if like assessee pays the bill, he can like show that of fees to the chartered
No, not that is not the reason. Somewhat like this. See here. See, already assessee will say, I have done my audit already. I have already paid fees to my chartered accountant. Now you are asking me to get the books audit again. And that also I am ready to cooperate. But why should I do the audit again and bear the expense again? You want the audit again because you have a doubt. So you bear the expense. Why should I bear? And see, doubt is a doubt. See, why are they asking me to get my books audited? Because they doubt me. But doubt doesn't mean assurance. Maybe I am honest person. So imagine I am an honest person, and if I have to bear the audit expense, so my cost of audit will be double. See, generally this inquiry happens on big assessees. And such big assessees might already have got the audit once. So already they have paid the expense once. Now just because the IT department, they have a doubt on me, so it's okay. It's natural to have a doubt on anyone. But then why should I bear the expense once again? So that's what law felt. That's why law says it's okay. You just cooperate in the audit. Don't worry about money. We will spend. Whatever amount has to be given to the chartered accountant nominated by government, that amount we will bear. But you have to cooperate in the process. Okay. See, long back, when we were students means it is a very long story. I cleared my CA in 97. In those days, the rule was what, assessee was supposed to bear the expense. And even when we were students, we used to think, why will assessee bear it's not fair. But soon there was an amendment. Now since so many years, the rule is what? Expense will be borne by government. But see, here there were two things. Who will determine and who will pay? Who will determine the expense? CIT, CCIT. And who will pay? Government. Okay. So this was Duckray. Still the section is not over. I am into this and it is a deep section. Broadly 4 points are done. Okay, now look. This point will be further investigated. Tell me, what was the direction point? Here what did I say? He will send a letter. That letter is called direction. Here what will be written? That you have to get your accounts audited by a CA nominated by government. Actually, here also the CA is nominated by CIT, CCIT. First I casually said CA nominated by government because I just started the section. Now we are into deep inside the section. Now minutely speaking, who will decide the chartered accountant? That authority also CIT, CCIT has got. Means if I am CIT, full form is what? Commissioner of Income Tax. CCIT, Chief Commissioner of Income Tax. I will decide who will be your chartered accountant. And these CITs and CCIT, they maintain a panel of chartered accountant, and from that panel of chartered accountants, anyone will be nominated. So the proper language will be, I repeat again, as per this section, the AO can issue a direction to the assessee requiring him to get his accounts audited by a chartered accountant nominated by CIT, CCIT. Now, before issuing this direction, the AO has to satisfy 3 conditions. See, only if 3 conditions are satisfied, this direction can be sent to the assessee. See, direction is a letter only. And if I want to send a letter to the assessee, I have to fulfill 3 conditions. See, what are the 3 conditions? Look at the screen. Can you see NPO? NPO, count. NPO, there are 3 conditions. N stands for AO should consider the audit as necessary. AO should, don't write, AO should feel. What will write? AO, he cannot harass the public. Only if he considers necessary, then you have got a power. Don't we say every power is supported by a duty. So you have a power to ask the assessee to get his accounts audited, but feel your duty that only if you feel it necessary. Only when you consider necessary, you have to issue a direction. Otherwise, don't send direction if it is not necessary. Then P stands for, before issuing the direction, you have to take the permission of CIT, CCIT. See, actually, who is sending all this letter? Assessing officer. Above the assessing officer, there is CIT. And above CIT, there is CCIT. So see, one day I will give you all the officers of department. Huh? Right now, you just remember broadly 3 levels. Assessing officer, above the AO, CIT, and then CCIT. Okay. So this communication with assess is done by the AO. But when AO sends you a letter, he has to take the permission from CIT, CCIT. Means if I am AO, I will talk to my boss and ask him, sir, I feel his books of accounts has to be audited. I feel necessary. See this N, I feel necessary. Then my boss will also ask me, boss means CIT or CCIT. Why do you feel necessary? Why do you feel necessary? Then he will also go through the case. Oh, yes, it is necessary. Okay, my permission is there. So only when CIT or gives permission, direction can be issued to the assessee. See, I'll tell you my personal experience. In these chapters which I started, students are not able to use the language properly. That's why my advice is what listen every sentence carefully the way I'm speaking. And your focus should be to by heart the word as it is. Because see, when I'm explaining like a story, you will find everything is so simple. But when it comes to your own writing, you will be stuck up. You will not be able to write. Trust my past year's experience. I have seen many students, when they listen to my explanation, they happily understand. But then when they have to write it on their own, they are not able to write. So the solution is, at the time when I am explaining, please understand my language properly. Okay. So see here what I was saying. Before issuing the direction, the assessing officer should take the permission of CIT or CCIT. Okay. And then O, opportunity of being heard should be given to the assessee. Opportunity of being heard means assessee should be given a chance to speak. Don't impose audit on him. See, just because I am assessing officer, just because law has given me power, I cannot impose. If I am instructing the assessee to get his accounts audited, I should listen to his excuse also. Sometimes assessee might say, why my books requires audit? I don't think audit is necessary. He wants to say something. So I should hear him. That is called opportunity of being heard. But that will happen when exactly, see, I will tell you the whole sequence in real life. Focus on NPO and listen to me what I am saying. See, if I am assessing officer, actually first I should have sent you a RAI notice. See, I want you to feel the flow. Imagine I am assessing officer. First I might have seen the return and then I found everything fishy. So I felt I will ask your books of accounts. And for books of accounts there was RAI notice. What was A in RAI? Accounts. And then I went through your accounts. Then I felt there is all manipulation in the accounts. So I felt the audit is necessary. NPO, N. And then I consulted my boss. Who is my boss? CID, CCID. I told him, sir, I got his accounts and I went through his accounts. I feel the audit is necessary. If you tell me, I will instruct him. So he gave me the permission. And then I will immediately send a letter. Now after you receiving the letter, your reaction will be why? Why should I get my books audited? This is a torture on me. So you will visit income tax department. You will visit income tax department and you will ask assessing officer, dear AO, tell me why should I get my books audited? I don't feel it is necessary. So AO cannot behave like this. It's my order. Get lost. This is wrong. It is the duty of the AO to allow assessee to speak. And it is the duty of the AO that to hear the assessee. He should be given a chance of being heard. Because sometimes AO might have misunderstanding. But to clarify the misunderstanding, there has to be a communication. And for communication, if assessee wants to speak, let him speak. And don't just let him speak. You have to hear him also. See, why do we say opportunity being heard? Heard means you hear him. What he's trying to say. Maybe assessee will give a good justification where he can prove that audit is not required at all. That's what I said. Assessee should be given an opportunity being heard. But see, this will happen when after the letter is sent. See, from AO's side, first he will do only two things in NPO and NP. And for if he is necessary, he will take permission, he will issue the letter. Now when assessee will react, why audit, why audit? Many times assessee will personally visit IT department and then he wants to have discussion with AO. So in such case, assessee should be given a chance to discuss and he should be heard. Idea is what you know, AO is given the power, but the power should not be misused. It should not be used in a way to harass the public. That's why there is a logic of, there was a condition of permission also. See, when permission is taken, that means AO doesn't have full control. Otherwise, sometimes the AOs are also psycho. They have the tendency of harassing the people. But when he has to take permission of CID, CCID, there is some internal control. Idea is what people should not feel they are harassed. But at the same time, we don't want to trust people. We want to get their books audited also. Now see, what was N in NPO? Necessary. See, law says AO should consider the audit as necessary. This is a condition, right? So obviously what assessing officer will say, I consider necessary. Even if he doesn't consider necessary, see, law has simply put a condition. AO should consider audit as necessary. So tell me, if I am a psycho assessing officer, then I will always say, no, I feel necessary. Even if I don't feel necessary, I want to torture you, I can always say, I feel necessary. So what is the definition of whether it's really necessary or not? So for that, there is further theory. Can you see NV Daman plus interest of revenue? See, what is the meaning of this? If anything from NV Daman is existing, then only AO can say audit is necessary. Because see, imagine there is a case in the court and who is fighting? Assessing and assessing officer. See, in real life there are cases in the court also, na? So imagine there are two parties fighting, assessee and AO. Assessee is saying there was no need of audit and AO says it was necessary. It was necessary. So tell me, how will judge take the decision? He will check NV Daman. He will check NV Daman. What is the full form? I will tell you. And if I am the judge in the court, if I feel, oh, there was NV Daman, then AO is right in issuing the direction to the assessee. But if judge finds there was nothing from NV Daman, AO is unnecessarily torturing the assessee, then AO will be said wrong. Assessee is right. See, I am not saying every time a case will happen in this, but to understand the provision, let us think extreme. And I am not at all saying that case is never possible. In extreme cases, people file a case also. Why should I get my books audited? I will not do. I will file a case. Case also happens in such cases, but generally people don't argue. Tell me, generally assessee will do what? They ask me to get the books audited, I will audit. But you know, while explaining to my student, I have to think extreme to understand every minute provision. So let's think extreme. There is a fight between assessee and AO and they are fighting that audit was not necessary and AO says it was necessary. So how will judge decide? Based on NV Daman. So N stands for nature and complexity of the accounts. Means judge will see, yes, the nature of the accounts is such that such accounts needs audit. Complexity means accounts are complicated. Just a moment. सेल चेंज कर देते. Okay, see here. I was discussing N in NV Daman. Nature and complexity of accounts. What do you mean by complexity? Complex means complicated. Means if the accounts are only such that they are so complicated, then audit is felt necessary. And then if assessing officer is saying, no, audit is necessary, see the accounts are complicated, and even the judge feels, no, the accounts are complicated, then the AO is right. So when AO will be right, if the accounts are complex, they are complicated, then V stands for volume of the accounts. If assessing officer says, see the volume of the accounts, generally people have books of accounts of say 50-60 pages, and his books of accounts run into 1000 pages. So many transactions. See, volume means volume, size. So such a big volume of accounts, obviously the audit is necessary. We cannot blindly trust. In short, AO should have such points. And if AO has got such points, AO is right. Then assessee has to follow the instruction. So what was N? Nature and complexity of the accounts. V stands for volume of the accounts. D. Doubts about the correctness in the accounts. Repeat. Doubts about the correctness in the accounts. Like assessing officer is saying, see this journal entry and then see this journal entry. There is no connection. It seems, I feel there are doubts. So if there is a doubts about the correctness, means whether the journal entry is correct or incorrect, there is a doubt. Now it depends upon which transactions entry is creating a doubt. But if there is a doubt about the correctness of the accounts, then AO's point is valid. Okay. See, all this is investigated deep in a court case. Otherwise, see, if assessee doesn't argue, then even if the direction is wrong, he will get the books audited. But some people are argumentative. Why should I get my books audited? Whatever they want, I will do. I will not do. I will fight. So when extreme cases, the matter goes in a court, then we investigate whether NV Daman was existing or not. And see, in NV Daman, any one criteria is fulfilled, AO is right. So what was N? Nature and complexity. Feel the word complexity of the accounts. Accounts are complicated. Volume. Then doubts about the correctness in the accounts. Then multiplicity of the transaction in the accounts. Sometimes a particular transaction coming in so many multiples creates a doubt. Like see, he was checking books of a coaching class. Come on. He was inquiring a coaching class. Now tell me, in a coaching class business, a coaching class will repeatedly receive fees from students. That entry will come in multiples. But imagine in my books of accounts, entry of commission received is coming again and again. Entry of commission received is coming again and again. So that will obviously create a doubt in someone's mind. What assessing officer will think? This is a coaching class, right? In coaching class, repeatedly you receive fees from students. Why commission? And once or twice it's okay. Repeatedly commission, multiplicity, that's creating a doubt in the mind of AO. Instead, I am just giving an example. Sometimes some journal entry coming in so many multiples can also create a doubt. I just took an example of a coaching class. In a coaching class, generally fees is received from a student, but the entry of commission received, why it is coming in multiples? That can also create a doubt. And that's why if he says accounts has to be audited, then AO is right. Where were we? M. Multiplicity of the transactions in the accounts. Last alphabet, nature of the business. Means AO says, see the business. It is a construction business. And in construction business, there is lot of black money. Means this is the AO's argument. I felt the business is such that it is manipulative. We see there are some business which can never be trusted. Like coaching class business can be trusted. They are good people. They generally take fees from students in check. So there is nothing like black money. But imagine I am a builder. I am a construction company. I sell flats. So many times when I sell the flat for 5 crores, I take 1 or 2 crores in cash only. You also know in construction line, see nowadays there is less of such thing, but builders and construction companies are very famous in keeping black money because they sell property for 6 crores and half of the money they take it in cash. So the business is such, anyone will have a doubt. So even that can be a reason for audit. Nature of business. Means assessing officer says the business is such that it's very difficult to trust. So tell me what are the points which will prove the audit is necessary. Are you looking from this N? I created N with Raman. So this means what? Audit will be considered necessary only if any one of this criteria is satisfied. NV Daman. Repeat. Full form? Nature and complex. See, make it a point to buy heart along. Because see, if I just finish it and this way, you know, the syllabus is too vast. If the syllabus would have been a small syllabus, then I would have just completed, you manage then later on. You study on your own. But the syllabus is so vast, it has to be finished along with the class only. Okay. Nature and complexity of the accounts, volume of the accounts, doubts about the correctness of the accounts, multiplicity of the transactions in the accounts, nature of the business. Any one of these criteria should be satisfied, then only AO can say the audit was necessary. Now, there is one more thing. Interest of revenue. You know, law tells assessing officer, see, you ask the assessee to get his accounts audited only if the government is benefited. If government is not getting any benefit, why are you wasting your time and the time of assessee? Means the audit should benefit the government. Interest of revenue means it should be benefiting the government. Interest means benefit. Revenue means government. See, whenever we say revenue, revenue means the government department. Why? Because income tax is an expenditure for us, but for the government it is revenue. And when we say interest of revenue, means in the benefit of government. In short, you know, indirectly what law is saying, AO, you should ask the assessee to get his accounts audited only if you consider that government will be benefited. Tell me how government will be benefited? Tax will increase. How tax will increase? After audit, the true net profit will be revealed. Assume currently assessee has shown a net profit of 6 crores. And if assessing officer is so confident that after the audit, the profit of 6 crores will become something like 10 crores, that means the profit will increase. Why? Because see, when accounts are checked, audit means audit. And in checking, the correct net profit will be revealed. And maybe the correct net profit is higher. It will increase the tax. It will benefit the government. And only if it is going to benefit the government, then only you waste your time and time of the assessee. Actually, you know, who is making this rule? Law. See, don't think law is only for public. Law is also for the department. Who sits in the department? People like us only. Like assessing officer, right now we are looking assessing officer is a different person, but he is a human being like me. So if I am an assessing officer sitting in IT department, so law is instructing me also. Don't think law is only trying to make rules for public. Law also makes rule for government department. So your law is trying to tell AO, only if you feel government will be benefited, then only you feel it is necessary. Otherwise, don't waste time. Just because you are getting sentimental, no, I feel this person is fishy. Let him be fishy. You just make some rough calculation. If you feel government will not gain anything from this, why are you wasting time? Ultimately, it's all about money. Money should come to government. Then only you ask the assessor to get his accounts audited. So, can you put up this in proper legal language? See how I am putting, look. I am putting the whole theory of NPO. Wait, before that, what is this plus sign? See, between NV Daman, any one thing is okay. But this is the second condition. Both this condition has to be fulfilled. But see, whether AO is bothered about interest of revenue or not, it cannot be checked. AO will always say, no, I felt government will be benefited. And here no one will argue also. But you know, there are some conditions which can never be checked. But you should feel as your moral responsibility. Like I am insisting you to revise income. You should feel as your moral responsibility. But I can never check whether you are revising or not. But still I am insisting you revise. So similarly, law also is insisting. See, AO, only if the government is benefited, do all this thing, otherwise don't waste time. But this condition can be ignored by the AO. But law is expecting AO to check whether government will be benefited or not. Okay. So see, I was saying, how will you put up everything in a proper legal language? See. Please see why I am saying, you know, because I want you to by heart. Direction under this section can be issued only if following conditions are satisfied. Repeat. Direction under this section can be issued only if following conditions are satisfied. Now what is the keyword? NPO. Condition number 1. The AO should consider the audit as necessary having regard to NV Daman and the interest of revenue. Repeat. AO should consider the audit as necessary having regard to NV Daman and interest of revenue. Condition 2. AO should take the permission of CIT or CCIT. Condition 3. AO should provide opportunity of being heard to the assessee. Are you noticing? All three conditions start with AO should, AO should, AO should. AO should consider necessary. AO should take the permission. AO should provide an opportunity being heard to the assessee. See, basically, try to understand the feeling I want you to by heart. You know, most of the students, what is their mistake? They just understand and go in exam. But then you don't get marks, na? See, already I am giving you a simplified version. If you see the original version of the Bare Act, it is far horrible. It's a horrible language. I have simplified in such a manner so that it is in a proper legal language also and simple also. Okay. So at least my language you buy it as it is. See, where there is flexibility of changing your own words, I will tell you. But at least in the initial chapters, please don't keep the flexibility. As far as possible, by heart the same sentence the way I am expressing. Okay. No, see, this M is what you know, multiplicity of the transactions. So law doesn't say which type of transaction, it depends. Mine was just an example of commission. Law cannot define so clearly, na? Because in real life anything is possible. So many types of assets, so many types of business. Law is saying in casual terms that if multiplicity of a transaction creates a doubt, then also audit can be felt necessary. Okay. Now what type of transaction, whether it is, but obviously the law means to say unusual transaction. Usual transaction coming in multiple, it is not doubt worthy. Like for a coaching class, fees is usual transaction. If that comes in multiplicity, it should never create a doubt. But for a coaching class, commission is unusual. That coming in multiplicity should create a doubt. But see, this is a deep explanation I am giving. Law simply says multiplicity of transaction can be a valid point. But some things are implied. Multiplicity of which transaction? Unusual transaction. Otherwise, see, if I am selling goods, so there will be 100 transactions of sale of goods in a day. So such usual transaction coming in multiplicity will never create a doubt. Okay. So it's what obvious that when court will question where was the multiplicity, so AO has to justify multiplicity of unusual transactions. It is implied. Okay, so see, actually this whole section, if you see it in study material or anywhere else, it is so lengthy. I have packed up the whole section in one chart. Okay, just by heart this chart thoroughly. Okay. Now see, next point, when does this audit take place? Tell me this audit or whatever I explained in 142, when it actually happens during this period. I already told you, I am reminding. Even this audit thing will happen when? Obviously during this period. Because what is the purpose of all this? To know the true income. And why he wants to know the true income? Because then only he can do assessment. Assessment means what? AO will compute your income. But to calculate your income, he has to know your true income. That's why he is doing inquiry. But he can skip the inquiry also. Huh? For example, I am overconfident AO. I will say I don't want to do the inquiry. Directly I can do the assessment based on my experience. I don't need inquiry. Means this inquiry may or may not happen. That I already told you, no? Now, yes? Look here. Her doubt is what? What if the report of the audit, which AO said you have to submit in prescribed time, is not submitted? So not submitting the audit report is as good as you are not fulfilling the direction. There is a penalty. Look, there is a penalty of rupees 10,000. There is a penalty of rupees 10,000 under section 272A for non-compliance of RAI notice and direction under 142(2)A. It was naturally my next point, and naturally it was a doubt only. So my next point was this only, that if you don't reply to RAI notice and if you don't follow the direction issued under 142(2)A, there is a penalty of 10,000 per default. You know why it is called per default? See, if you count, there can be maximum 3 4 defaults. How 4 defaults? In RAI notice also there are 3 varieties of notice. What was the full form RAI notice? Submit the return, produce the accounts, furnish information. See, I am calling it as one RAI notice, but actually there are 3 different notices. So imagine a person was sent R also, A also, I also, all notices were sent. Practically very rare, but just imagine every notice he was given. File the return, produce accounts, furnish information. He didn't fulfill. So for each default, 10,000. See, basically I want to hammer on per default. So I want to count the number of defaults can be R, A, I and audit. So maximum 4 defaults are possible. And for each default, for each disrespect of each notice, 10,000 penalty. Under which section? 272A. Everything which I am explaining is most important. Don't ignore anything. Because whatever filtering is to be done, I have done. You cannot do any more filtering. I am already giving you the thing which you have to study from exam. Things which are not relevant, I will never teach you also. It will waste your time. Because the syllabus is ocean like. So at least don't cut down what I am teaching. So this section you will have to remember. 272A. But this is for non-compliance of. You understand non-complying means? Not to comply means not to reply. Comply means to follow what I am asking. So I am asking you to do this, do that, do that. You are not doing. So that means that's non-compliance. Okay. Wait. Before your doubt, wait. Tell me, in RAI notice, what was assessee asked? File the return if the same is not filed. Submit books of accounts. Furnish information. But within how much time? As mentioned in the notice. See, whenever income tax department issues notice and tells you, you do this, you do that, they will write the time in the notice only. Listen to this point carefully, huh? Because my past experience says, even after saying this point, student has a doubt. Sir, when we have to reply to RAI notice? I told you right now only. When? Within the time prescribed in the notice. See, whenever you can generalize this point, huh? Because in future theory also there are many notices I will keep talking. So whenever this doubt comes, notice has come, but when to reply? So for every notice, when to reply, time will be mentioned in such notice. And the time is not so rigid, it's flexible. In case assessing officer says, you produce accounts in 35 days. It can become 45 also. It can become 65 also. The time can be extended. Everywhere there is convenience. Huh? But the original time will be prescribed. It can be extended on and on. But in audit, it cannot be extended on and on, on and on, on and on. It can be extended till 180 days. I told you. So see, for audit also you were given a time. Within so much time you have to submit the report. However, it can be extended till 180 days. So here also time will be prescribed. You have to reply in so and so days. And here also it can be extended. But how long it can be extended, there is no law for that. So it can be extended for any number of days. Okay. Yes, you had a doubt. See, his doubt is what you know. If audit report is not submitted, assessing can say it's not my fault. The CA is hopeless. He doesn't know how to do the audit. He is delaying. See, if there is a delay on the part of CA, you can request AO. And see, AO is not, CA is also not that mad. Huh? Don't underestimate chartered accountants. Okay. We are chartered accountant. He will fulfill. And see, CIT will nominate. Who nominates the chartered accountant? CIT, CCIT. They will nominate all good CAs. So generally CA will not be at fault. See, blame will always be on the assessee. It is whose income assessee. It is whose books assessee. CA is just coming like an inspector. Inspector means he will just inspect and check the books. You cannot put the blame on the CA. Even if, let's assume extreme, the CA was nonsense. Still, who will bear the consequence? Assessee. Your bad luck. But generally that will not be the case. Okay. In short, you cannot blame the CA. My CA was such. See, sometimes CA might take little time to get the books audited. So extension is permitted, na? And extension is given till 180 days. You know what is the logic of 180 days? You know, to maintain books, you require 365 days. Books which can be maintained in 365 days can be checked in 180 days. Half of 365. Maintaining the books takes lot of time. So if any books you can maintain in 365 days, what is 365 days? 1 year. Books are for 1 year. So if a books can be maintained in 1 year, it can be checked fast. Maintaining takes more time. Checking is fast. So if maintaining took 1 year, checking can be done in half year. Half year is round about that 180 days only. So that is the thinking of government. What more than 180 days you require? Because even the biggest of the assessee, he is able to maintain the books in a period of 1 year. Maintaining can be done in 1 year. Checking should be done within half year. Half year means 180 days. So law is very confident. You should not require a period of more than 180 days. Okay. And beyond that, extension will not be allowed. And if your audit report is not submitted, you will have to suffer the penalty. See, here penalty is for wry notice and not following the direction. Tell me here why penalty will come. See, here assessee is not communicated, na? Tell me this other sources means it is behind the back. Like GST department, advertiser. So tell me if assessee's advertisers, his suppliers do not provide the proper information, government cannot punish them. They do not have right. Inquiry is on the assessee. Their target is assessee. They can hit the assessee if he doesn't cooperate. Outsiders do not cooperate. It's not their duty. Means in his doubt is what, in case in this other sources, assessing officer inquired with his advertiser and advertiser was not responding. So we cannot do anything to him. Means penalty is under this and this only. Not under this. Because here they are communicating with other sources. And if by chance they do not reply, generally they will reply. Because they are not affected. Why will they not reply? But still if they don't reply, there is no penalty for that. But here we are asking assessee to reply in both these sections. And here if assessee doesn't reply, he will have to suffer the penalty. 10,000 per default under section 272 capital A. Okay. And 272 it's not in bracket. Bracket becomes a subsection. It is a main section. Don't use bracket. 272 directly A. Okay. See, her doubt is what? Can assessee ask for change of auditor? No. Why? Because why change? Because CA is a CA.
But he's not furnishing the reports on time. Assessee is only bearing the penalty.
So see, look here. Her doubt is extreme actually. Practically it will not happen, but still, let me address to her doubt also. The doubt is what? The CA was not proper and so and so. So can you ask for a change of CA? These things are not written in the law. But it is understood. You can ask for change of CA. But generally it will not happen. But let's assume the CA which originally was nominated was hopeless. So you can tell AO, what CA you have nominated. He doesn't know anything. What kind of CA you have kept in your panel. I want change of CA. They will change also. But this is not written in the law. But why will law not allow that? After all, law says the CA will be not your CA. It will be nominated by government. But the first one who was nominated, he is not doing the work properly. The CA can change also. But anyways, don't take such points in extreme. Huh? I have to address every student's doubt. That's why I am speaking. But don't think they will ask such points in exam. Okay. But it's possible. So, where were we? Yeah. These 2 pages we did. Huh? Now, in 23 budget, see our latest budget which we are studying is 24. What was the latest budget? 24. That budget is tested in your exam. Whether you are appearing May 25 or November 25. But right now I am going to mention about last to last budget. In 23 budget, there was an amendment that now assessing officer can direct assessee for stock valuation. Up till now it was what? Only direction for audit was given. Audit. Now there is one more type of direction which can be issued, that is direction for stock valuation. Means imagine a company is a manufacturing company, they've got lot of stock in the factory. And the value of stock is creating a doubt in the mind of AO. Tell me why stock value matters?
Because it can be manipulated easily and you can.
But it affects your tax liability. See, I'll give you one simple example. Imagine trading account. Debit side opening stock, purchase. Credit side sales, closing stock. So imagine closing stock figure is small. GP will become small.
Yeah.
And if the closing stock figure is big, GP will become big. And eventually your profit will be changing. So stock figure has the effect on the profit. Agreed?
Yeah.
So sometimes AO has a doubt on the value of the stock disclosed by you. So he will issue an order. Order means direction. Get your stock valued by a cost accountant nominated by CIT, CCIT. Everything is same now. Instead of a chartered accountant doing the audit, here it will be a cost accountant. You know, people do CMA nowadays, CMA, cost and management accountant. So it will be the job of the cost accountant to do your stock valuation. And cost accountant's report should be submitted by assessee to the AO within the time prescribed by AO. However, this time can be extended, but the total time should not exceed 180 days. Expense of the stock valuation will be decided by CIT, CCIT, borne by the government. Rest all is same. Everything is same. Only thing is now the another direction is stock valuation. So see, there are 2 special things. Special audit, special stock valuation. This is by chartered accountant, this is by cost accountant. Section is common, 142 2A. Okay. So 142 2A is done. Now, one more point. Look. Look at this. Try this question. Try this. I will ask you one question. Tell me what is the deadline for belated return? 31st December or before completion of assessment, which is earlier. Let's assume assessment is not yet started only. So latest by 31st December you can file the return, correct? Now, imagine assessee received a RAI notice. Assessee received a RAI notice in this period. Which period? Can you see that 12 months? During this period he received a, what is this 12 months? Up till 12 months assessment can go on. In fact, it should be finished within the 12 months deadline. Last lecture I told you, okay? So let's assume assessing officer sent you a RAI notice in this 12 months duration, and he was asked to file the return. He was asked to file the return. And you know what was the reply of ASST? I will not file the return because a belated return cannot be filed beyond 31st December. And you are asking me to file the return after 31st December? I will not file the return. Are you understanding the situation? After December, in this period, which period? In this 12 months duration, you were sent a RAI notice and you were asked to file the return. Can return be submitted in this period?
Yes.
Keeping in mind a return cannot be filed beyond 31st December. See, a student generally has a doubt, that sir, on one hand they say return cannot be filed beyond 31st December. So, in RAI notice, how can they ask me to file the return in this period, which is after 31st December? How can it be possible? It's possible. Voluntarily, if you want to file voluntarily, it cannot come beyond December. But that is voluntarily. But if they are asking you, they can ask you anytime. You know, during this patch, look at this, during this patch, anytime they can come in active mode. You cannot tell him, who? AO, you are sending me notice after December. You have told us you cannot file the return after December. So you are correct, ASST. If you want to file on your own, you cannot file beyond December. But when we are asking, we can ask anytime. See, this thing is very important. During this period, anytime AO can do 142. Sometimes, you know, at the fag end, when the 12 months is about to expire, that time he is sending a notice, send your return, send your return. You have to respect it. See, if you want to do it on your own, you have to stay in your limits. Maximum 31st December. But I am asking you, I am AO. I can ask anytime. And you cannot disrespect my notice. When I ask you to file the return, you have to file. Okay. So see, one good chart I have made. Look at this. There are two types of returns. Returns voluntarily filed and demanded. Okay. What do you mean by voluntarily filed? Filed on your own. So when you file voluntarily, we say it's return under 139.1. Although belated return has a section of 139.4. But once belated, see, 139.4 permits you late. But return is always called 139.1. Whenever the return is filed on your own, it's always called 139.1. 139.4 is simply giving you permission. On your own, you can file late also. And 139.5, revise return, that is giving you permission to revise. But the return is always treated as 139.1. So one return is voluntary return, which is 139.1, and this you can file latest up to 31st December. So on your own, if you want to file, it is impossible that after December they will accept your return. If you say no, I will file only, they will throw it in the dustbin. On your own, it's not possible to file beyond December. But if it is demanded by AO, then such returns are called return under section 142.1, and that can be demanded even after 31st December. See, AO can demand in this period also. And AO can demand in this period also. This is the whole area of AO. Anytime he wants, he can demand, and if he demands, you have to fulfill his demand. And if you don't reply, what happens? Penalty of 10,000 under 272A. This was a good analysis. This is not written in the law, But many times students ask me, sir, how can we file return in this period? Means there was some question. In question, student had a doubt. Sir, how can we file return in this period? In that question, RAI notice was given. So I had to tell him, yes, you can file. On your own, you cannot. But if they are demanding, you have to file as per their demand. Yes, on your own, if you want to file, you cannot file beyond 31st December. Okay. Yes.
Sir, in the under 142, they'll demand the return if we have not filed the return.
Correct. See, 142.1 return is possible only when you have not filed at all. They will never say, you filed but not happy. File again. Never possible. 142.1 clearly states, if the assessee has not filed the return up to the due date, then AO can send a notice requiring him to file the return. The sentence makes it very clear. If the assessee has not filed, coincidentally heard out, some student had asked me few days back only. That student was under the impression that even if I filed a return, 142.1 can come. Wrong. 142.1 RAI notice, I am talking about R in RAI, R. That is possible for people who have not filed only. If you have filed the return, at the most they can point out a defect. Defective return. And defect also cannot be any defect. Even the word defect is defined. What can be a defect? Anything from this missing can be a defect. See, for a filed return, at the most what AO can say, I find something is missing from this. So he can raise a point of defective return. 142.1 he cannot send. 142.1 can be sent only to those who haven't filed the return at all. Only they will be sent 142.1 that dear you didn't file the return, please file. I want to see your return. And still if you don't file, suffer the penalty. And see, along with the penalty, one more thing, he will calculate the income as per his own judgment. See, whenever they file, their return is missing. Whenever they find your return is missing, they are not so dependent and handicapped. They will calculate your 5 heads of income based on your own judgment. Okay. In short, main doubt you understood her doubt now. That is it possible to send RAI notice even in case when return is already filed? No. Only when the return is not filed at all, RAI notice can be sent. Means I am talking about this R part. See, accounts and information is a different matter. There obviously you have already filed a return. Now I want your books of account. Now I want further information. That can be asked anytime. But this R thing is possible only if you have not filed a return at all, then only they will ask your return.
Is it possible that the assessing officer fails to issue the final assessment order before the complete?
See, her doubt is related to some future theory. But still, I will answer her. Her doubt is what sir, you said that up to 12 months, assessment should be closed. It should be full stop. It should end in 12 months. That's what I said, right? So her doubt is, what if within 12 months they initiated assessment but they didn't finish it? It was left unfinished. Then we say assessee has escaped. Assessee has escaped. And for escaping people, there is one more assessment called 147, which will come later. I didn't want to discuss this point now, but she had a doubt that what if within that 12 months deadline, the AO has just started the assessment, but he could not finish it. It was left incomplete stage and the 12 months has expired. So obviously in such case what department feel, oh, you are saved. Because see, To catch the assessee, they have to do it. They have to end the assessment in 12 months. But within 12 months, they are not able to finish the assessment. They will say assessee has escaped. Feel the word escaped. And for escaping people also, there is a remedy under section 147. But how that works, we will discuss later. Right now, it will be too early to discuss. It was a doubt, so I discussed that point. Okay. Anyway, that was a general point. Mainly what we are doing is 142, which we finished. So in 142, you have to remember this page thoroughly. And what else? This non-compliance thing. And one more thing which I said, this thing. And this completes your 142 section.
If I file a late return under 142.1, then also 234A and 244F will apply.
Yes. Look at this. Part 1 of the chapter was returns, which were done. Part 2, even that is done. Next part is what? Assessment. Now see, assessment can be broadly of two types. Timely assessment, belated assessment. Now see, just the way people when they file the return, some people file the return on time. Some people are late. So government also says, sometimes we are on time, sometimes we are also late. Because see, they are also human being. We are human being. Government considers our late return, right? So in the income tax office also they are human being. So they can also sometimes become late. So that's why law says assessment can be done in timely manner also. It can be done in belated manner also. Timely manner means what is the time for doing the assessment? 12 months from the end of AY. Remember that 12 months. So if within 12 months the assessment is done, it's called timely assessment. But if within 12 months it is not done, then it is called belated assessment. But belated assessment, it is subject to so many conditions which will come later. But right now I am just giving you a broad idea. Let's take one by one. Now, in timely assessment also you can find three things. Summary assessment, regular assessment and best judgment assessment. Okay. Now see one by one. First is summary assessment. What is summary assessment? I will explain. How it takes place, I will explain. So what two things I will explain? What is summary assessment? How it takes place. So answer one by one. What is summary assessment? You guess. Summary means in short. So this is an assessment without any detailed inquiry. Whatever you have shown in the return, they will accept it. Without investigating whether you have shown the income truly or not, whether you have disclosed the income honestly or not, no inquiry, no investigation. Your return will be accepted, subject to few adjustments. What did I say? Your return will be accepted, subject to few adjustments, and that is also done through computer. Automatic adjustment. Means some human being will not do inquiry. Tell me honestly what is your income. Tell me the truth. That deep investigation will not be done. It will be done in short. And because of the word in short, we say it's summary. Don't we say summary word for word? Whenever something is given in short, it becomes summary. So your assessment is done in short. But see, in short, that doesn't mean they will not do anything. The assessment will be done not manually. It will be done through a computer. You know, in Bangalore, income tax department has got a big software. Everyone filing the return, his return will go to Bangalore, and there is a big software in which it will be automatically processed. And there some automatic changes happen. That is summary assessment. How it happens, I will show you with a drawing. Look. See, firstly, meaning I have told you, summary assessment is an assessment without any detailed inquiry. It is not done manually, without human interference. It is done through a computer software. And your return will be accepted, but not blindly. Few changes will be done. And that also manually or through a computer. Through a computer. Now you know what the student has to study? What changes will happen in my return? Didn't I say right now? They will not do detailed inquiry. Like assessing officer drilling you, tell me honestly what is your income. That kind of drilling will not happen. But few changes will take place. And that also through computer. Now what changes will take place? Look at this. Count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 changes will take place in your return. So see, visualize like this, that someone has filed a return. And see, in the return, mainly what you show, your income and the tax. Income 5 heads and the tax on that. So this is what you have shown in the return. In this sum, plus minus will take place. And how it will take place, see, one by one. A stands for arithmetical errors. Means if in your return there are some arithmetical error, it will be automatically corrected. Who will do this? Some human being or computer. Imagine if I ask you to check one calculation. So you have to use calculator, you have to do so much effort. So it is increasing the time. Checking mathematical accuracy also, it requires human effort. And if human beings are employed, then what is the purpose of summary? Idea is what you know, everyone cannot be investigated in depth. So at least let's do summary assessment. Okay. And because of summary assessment also, sometimes your tax can increase. It's like, something is better than nothing. Actually, government wants to investigate every human being. Everyone is a liar in India. Everyone is a tax evader. But practically, everyone cannot be investigated in detail. So that's why, government said, let's not be greedy. Something is better than nothing. At least something we can recover from the assessee through the medium of computer by some automatic correction. So that is the idea of summary assessment. So what was the first adjustment? Arithmetical errors. Another one, apparent incorrect claims. Repeat. Apparent incorrect claims. Tell me, what do you mean by incorrect claims? In return, what do you claim? Deductions, exemptions. And see, when it is incorrect, incorrect means it's not correct. But who says it's not correct? It is obvious. If it is obvious, it is apparent. Apparent means it is obvious. Like with example, it's better to talk. Standard deduction in house property. Income from house property, every student has studied in CA Inter. In income from house property, what is the standard deduction? 30%. But someone has filed a return claiming a standard deduction of 40%. So tell me, 40% standard deduction in house property is correct or incorrect? Incorrect. And is there any doubt? No, it may be correct. It's obviously wrong. Under house property head, the whole country knows. It is 30% means 30 only. So 40 is obviously wrong. See, something which is obvious, which is not debatable, is called apparent. Apparent means on the face of it, it's clear. See, sometimes on the face of it, you can make out, this is wrong. Like for example, ATC. Chapter 6 say ATC. By investing some places, you get deduction of, see, 1,50,000 you know or not? But someone has filed a return claiming deduction of 2 lakhs. So tell me, claiming deduction of 2 lakhs under ATC Is it correct or incorrect? Now, incorrect is there, but is it debatable or obvious? Obvious. And something which is obvious is called apparent. See, only obvious things can be corrected by computer. See, computer doesn't have feeling. He will not feel like us. No, you are a cheater. You are a liar. Computer is a machine. If something is obviously wrong, it can detect. Because in that computer software, they have feeded the whole income tax law. See, computer is expert in maths. But this computer which is there in Bangalore, it is expert in tax also. How it has become an expert in tax? The whole income tax law is fed into the software only. So whenever the computer finds inconsistency, it will rectify automatically. Like see, 1 plus 1 is 2. But if computer is finding 9, he will automatically rectify. Because computer is super powerful in maths. But our income tax computer in Bangalore, it has also become powerful in tax. So if standard deduction 30% you take 40, if ATC instead of 1,50,000 you take 2 lakh, it will automatically correct. That computer will say I also know tax along with maths. So see, this is mathematical mistake, this is taxation mistake. Mistake, mathematical mistake, taxation mistake. Both the mistake will be corrected by computer. Okay. So tell me in this case what will happen if someone has claimed ATC of 2 lakhs? 50,000 will be automatically added back in the income shown by you. Okay. But see, computer will also do like this. Like someone has taken standard deduction of 10% under house property. See, I know my examples are funny. Practically these things doesn't happen. But just to understand the concept, that someone has taken standard deduction under house property of 10% only. So computer will give you 20% more. Computer is no one's friend or enemy. It finds something is not consistent with the law, it will make the correction. So if someone has taken 10%, he will give you more 20%. So this will be less. See, actually you understood, I wanted to explain plus or minus. Sometimes it can be minus also. Okay. L. Listen to the sentence carefully. L. Brought forward losses claimed in the return. Brought forward loss claimed in the return in respect of a past year, the return of which was not filed on time. Repeat. Brought for loss claimed in the return. Feel, claimed in the return in respect of a past year, the return of which was not filed on time. So tell me, what is the problem here? Return of that year was not filed on time. So you are not allowed to carry forward only. But you carried forward, you brought forward, you set off also. But computer can detect that. But tell me, how computer can detect that? Because when you file the past year return, your date of filing return is saved in the computer. Computer is super computer. Whenever you file the return in past, let's assume 5 years back, I filed the return late. And honestly speaking, if the filer is a late filer, he cannot carry forward the loss. But some people think, what? Who will come to know? I know I cannot carry forward, but let me take the set off. In spite of the fact his return was late in past, he still took the set off and he submitted the return. See, you also work in a CA office, you know how the work goes on. You are casual in real life. Let's submit, let's claim the loss. But computer can detect, because when you claim the loss, you have to mention it is loss of which year, say 2018-19, 2018-19. So here you have to mention. So in the computer they will check the date of filing return of 2018-19, and that date was beyond the due date. So computer could detect And then he will say, boss, you are not allowed to set off this loss. Since you already set off, I will add back. Please by heart the language also. Repeat the sentence. Brought forward loss claimed in the return in respect of a past year, the return of which was not filed on time. I mean, that past year's return was not filed on time, but still you set off the loss and claimed in the return. So it will be added back. See, these are certain things which computer can handle at its own level without any human interference. Computer says, I am smart enough. I don't understand people are cheater or honest, but I am smart enough to manage these adjustments. Okay. Where is this computer? Bangalore. You know Bangalore is called what? Centralized Processing Center. Processing means your return is being processed. See, what was the keyword? A lady. A lady. Lady, gentleman, gentle lady. So that lady. So you should feel as if it is a lady. You are calling some lady. A lady. So till L we have done. E. Expenses claimed in the return but disallowed as per audit report. Means what? You know, in audit report, certain expenses which are disallowed, you have to report in 3CD. Have you heard about form 3CD? Tax audit report. In 3CD, you have to report cash expenditure, expenses incurred without deducting TDS, payment to relatives. I don't know whether you have done some audit or not. So in 3CD you have to submit all these details. So you know, inside the computer there is your return also and there is your 3CD also. So it will match. So you know what is feeling, means what is making the computer surprised, you know, that in 3CD there are so many cash payments. And you know, in income from business, cash payment is disallowed. So what computer is shocked, you know, there are so many cash payments which are disallowed. But in your return, you are not disallowed anything. You know, when you disallow, you have to add back to your net profit. When some expense is disallowed, in your net profit you have to add back. But that add back thing was missing in your return. So that gave a shock to the computer. That on one hand, in 3CD, there are so many expenses which are disallowed. So what was computer expecting? That in your return also, in the net profit, disallowed expense should be added. But that was missing. So computer will add now. See, these things computer can do. Why? You know, because inside their computer, your return is also there and audit report is also there. And if there is a mismatch, they will do the adjustments. So what was E? Expenses claimed in the return but disallowed as per audit report. Claim means you have netted off your profit. Net means net. But as per audit report, it is disallowed. So here also they will disallow, means they will add back in your profit. D. Last point. Deduction under section 80 IA to 80 RRB and 10 AA. You know, these deductions, if anyone has to claim, you have to file the return on time. Which deductions? 80 IA to 80 RRB and 10 AA. See, here many sections you are not aware of, but this 10 AA, all that I will explain. One day will come and I will explain. But for your knowledge, 10 AA is for what? Exporters. Exporters get big deduction under section 10 AA. And what is 80 IA? Forget it. You just remember these are some incentives. And if you want to claim these incentives, your return should be filed on time. But you know, many people are casual. Even if the return is late, still they claim the incentive, thinking what, who will come to know? Let me claim in the return. But computer is smart. It will detect the moment it sees deduction under 80 IA to RRB, 10 AA, and dear, your return is late. So how did you claim? So they will add back. And see, this is which return? Current year's return only, it's late. See, previously there was brought for a loss. There the return of that year was late. Which? Old year. The loss of which you have brought forward. But right now I am talking about what? This year's return where I claimed 80 IA to RRB and 10 AA. This year's return is only late. And late filing can be easily detected by the computer. So it will add back. In short, as a student, you should be aware what adjustments are done by the software. See, what is the difference between articleship and my lecture, you know? Articleship will give you a very rough idea. Crooked, raw idea, where you will not get the clarity. Here you will get in-depth clarity of the concept. So along with articleship, when this is also thorough, then you will become expert. See, you heard about this section also in articleship. You heard something about this in Bangalore, processing happens. But that is just a raw knowledge. But here you are getting a precise knowledge. That precisely what happens, a lady. Okay. So repeat fast. Arithmetical error. Apparent incorrect claims. Means something which is incorrect and it is not arguable. It is very obvious. On the face of it, it can be made out. Then brought forward loss claimed in the return in respect of past year, the return of which was not filed on time. Then E, expenses claimed in the return but disallowed as per audit report. Then D, deduction under 80 IA to 80 RRB and 10 AA claimed in the return but the return is not filed on time. See the way I am saying fast, you should be able to say. And I am sure next lecture when I ask you the question, you will fumble. I know it's wrong to be judgmental. You can answer also, but I am just sharing my past experience. When they are listening to me, they are happily saying, yes, we know everything. But when I ask you the question, you will be fumbling. So that's why I am insisting, please by heart. Today what I will do, since I have not yet given the main book to you, today I will share the PDF of sentence form. See, here it is a keyword, na? At home when I expect you to revise and come, so you will be finding the full form missing. So today, after the lecture only, I will share the actual PDF of this chapter so that the sentences also you can memorize. Because in my next lecture, I want you to answer me word to word. It looks like a torture, but after all, it is for you. What difference it makes to me? For me, it is just another batch. After so many batches in 27 years of my experience, for me it is just another batch. But for you, it's your only life, your single life. It matters, it should matter to you a lot. So please revise and come. Huh? Okay. So anyways.
So sir, after once we file the return and if we go online, we see intimations. Is it?
It will come. It's still going on. That point is there in the package. It will come. Still the theory is going on, huh? Yes? Okay. Wait. Just a moment. तुम लोग भी चलो पानी वानी पी लो. वैसे भी ऋषिका की आंखें बंद हो रही थी. अच्छा पानी पीना याद दिलाने, तो पानी याद ही नहीं आता. लेके आता हूँ जोश में पानी पीऊँगा. आई फॉरगेट ओनली. Like see for example, an assessee had claimed a brought forward loss, and it was pertaining to 2018-19, and actually the return of 2018-19 was on time, but the government's software, it shows that your return was late. So there is a mismatch. Actually assessee says I had filed the return on time. Trust me, I have filed the return on time. But in the software, it looks as if your return was late. So sometimes there can be misunderstanding. So that's why the Bangalore people, they will send you a mail and they will say, our system shows your return was late. So how did you claim the brought forward loss? We are planning to add back. Do you want to say something? So in such case, assessee will immediately submit the acknowledgement of the return. When you file the return, you have an acknowledgement, a proof, which can prove on which date you filed the return. So assessee can immediately reply to the mail by submitting a proof. See, my return was on time. So here assessee can be saved or not. See, the logic of informing assessee is what? In case there is a misunderstanding, it can be clarified. Yes, if really the assessee's return was late only, then what reply he will do? He will say, okay, do add. You want to add? Add. Yes, I know my return was late. Add. You came to know? Okay, add. But sometimes it is possible, out of 100 cases, one case it is possible that the software is having a misunderstanding that you filed the return late. But actually it was not late, it was on time. But it was on time, na? So you have to submit the proof where they will be convinced, okay, it was on time, sorry. We had a misunderstanding, so we will not add anything. In short, I am just explaining what is the logic of informing the assessee. And whenever they inform, firstly they will inform through an email. And after that you will be given a time of 30 days. 30 days is a fixed rule by heart. 30 days by heart. 30 days. Within 30 days you have to reply to the mail. They have sent email, you also reply email within 30 days. How to count 30 days? If I received the mail today, so don't count today, count from tomorrow. So that way how many days? 30 days. And they will wait, the software in Bangalore, they will wait for my reply. And if I don't reply, they will proceed. They will not wait beyond 30 days. If you reply, it's well and fine. But if you don't reply, after 30 days, they will proceed to plus minus. See, they were waiting for what? Plus minus. So you for 30 days, if you don't reply, they will do the adjustments. And let's assume after the adjustment, your income has changed. See, in the return you have shown some income, but now income will change. Why it will change? Because of our lady. Because of our lady, your income might change, na? And your tax also might change. And see what I have written here. Adjusted income. Adjusted tax. Adjusted means adjusted after our lady. But see, this adjustment will be done only after your reply has come. Reply to that mail. Yes, if you have not replied, then after 30 days. But someday this adjustment will be done or not. Now, assume your adjusted tax has become 14,000. This 14,000 just an example. Now, computer has the skill of comparing also. It will compare 14,000 with what you already paid. Look at this. If assessee has paid 10,000 and your revised tax is 14,000, so they will demand 4,000. They will demand rupees 4,000. How will they demand? They will give you a call. Hello. You have to pay for. No calling. they will send one intimation under section 143(1). In the intimation, they will clearly mention, this was the income you have shown, this is the adjustment we have done, this is your revised figure, this much you have paid, balance you have to pay now. That will be clearly written transparently on a paper called intimation. See, in this section you will have to use the word intimation. Be particular about the words. Like in my last explanation, when I was explaining 142, didn't I say you have to use the word direction? And for Rai notice, notice. And now in this theory, intimation will be sent, which will let you know that you have to pay 4,000 more. Okay, but let's assume his tax was, no, his tax became 14, but he paid 16. Means he has paid more, you will get a refund. But that refund thing will also be intimated through that same document, intimation under section 143(1). You might have seen intimation. If you have not seen, see, if you have seen, it's well and fine, but I don't assume everyone should have every knowledge. Huh? If you have not seen, you can visualize. In the intimation, they will say, this was the income shown by you, this is the adjustment, and this is the new income, and this much you have paid, so this much is your refund. It will be mentioned. And then, let's assume your tax is 14,000 and coincidentally you paid 14,000 only, ditto same. So no demand, no refund. In such case, they should not send you intimation, but they still send. Because it is machine operated. And machine doesn't think much. See, all this intimation you get from Bangalore and it is automated. Sometimes nothing is payable, nothing is refundable, but still you get an intimation. Okay. But see, once you get the intimation, don't think my return is successfully finished. Summary assessment is as good as no assessment. Summary assessment is as good as no assessment. Means when you get the intimation, don't get the happy vibes. Wow, my assessment is done. I got a refund. Look at this refund case. Don't be so happy. Summary assessment is as good as no assessment. Many times, you know what happens? From Bangalore, you got the intimation of 1 lakh refund. After some days, assessing officer has started inquiring on you. You submit this document, you do this, you do that. Assessor is shocked. What nonsense. Few days back only I got my refund. Now why are you behind me? And he is behind me for that same year for which I got the refund. So assessing officer will say, don't be happy with the refund which you got from Bangalore, because that is intimation and that is on account of summary assessment. Summary assessment, everyone is subject to summary assessment. And don't count it as an assessment. It is as good as no assessment. The real assessment I will do now. Means scrutiny can be initiated even after summary assessment, because summary assessment is as good as no assessment. Please repeat my sentence. Scrutiny, no, start. Take it from the top. Scrutiny can be initiated even after summary assessment, because summary assessment as good as no assessment. You know what this income tax people do nowadays? Everyone filing the return, it will go to Bangalore, it will be processed, and this is by default happening with everyone. So imagine there are 100 people filing the return, just a random number. 100 people filed the return. So everyone's return will go to Bangalore and processed. So every 100 return is summarily assessed. But from that 100 returns, 5-6 returns will be picked up for scrutiny, for detailed investigation. That is the real assessment. So many times, you know, many of my friends also ask me, few days back only I got an intimation and that was straight from income tax department. It is straight from IT department only, na? But the way of telling of my friend was what? I got straight from IT department intimation where I got a refund. Now suddenly these notices are coming. What are they up to? So I had to explain my friend, dear, that 143 one which you got, one, that intimation that happens with everyone. But your luck is bad. Your luck is bad. That in your case they have initiated scrutiny. But they are doing double thing. No, don't treat double. Summary is as good as nothing. The main thing is happening with you now. You got the notice, reply. Otherwise AO will take away your life. Means AO will compute the income as per his own judgment if you don't respond him. Okay. Okay, see, one good thing I have done here. You know, when you were kid in school, you were explained the drawing of a computer. Computer has got 3 steps: input, processing, output. So that kind of feeling I am trying to give. So see, this is a software in Bangalore. Okay. In this software, what is the input? The return filed by the public becomes your input. And inside the computer, what happens? Lady. Lady. I am trying to show processing. And then, after the processing, the output will be the intimation which will be sent to you through email only. But see, before this, one more mail was sent. Two emails. See, before doing lady, you are informed, na? We are doing lady. Do you have any problem? You tell us now only, huh? Because we are planning to do lady. So that example I gave, na? They are under the impression that your return was late, but actually it was on time. So that misunderstanding sorting out is there. So first mail was before lady. There you were given time of 30 days to reply. And after lady, one more email will come. That is the main email where you will get intimation under section 143(1). You know, there is a deadline for sending intimation. No. See, don't mix. There were 2 emails. First email was before lady adjustment. They sent you a mail just to inform that we are making some additions in your income. Do you have any objection? Reply in 30 days. That is over now. That is over. Now, let's assume ASST replied or didn't reply. After 30 days, this adjustment will be done. Now, this intimation, what is the time for that? That I am asking. There is a time limit for sending intimation. This is what you don't learn in articleship. Articleship will teach you. Yeah, there is some intimation. Many times our clients get refund. But what you don't study in articleship, the minute points, this intimation can be sent within what time? There is a deadline for that. Within 9 months. Intimation will be sent by IT department to the ASST within 9 months from end of the year in which you filed the return. End of the year in which you filed the return. So let's assume you filed the return. You filed the return on 9th of July. This is the date when you filed the return. So when can you get the intimation? 9 months. Repeat that. First you have to go to the end of the year. 31st March. And then after that you have to add 9 more months. Anytime during this period, you can get intimation. 9 months from the end of the year. See, end of the year means counting of 9 months. is from the end of the year. But that doesn't mean intimation will be given after the end of the year. Intimation can be given. See, the moment you file the return, anytime your intimation can come. You know, many times when I file the return, I am talking about my case. I file the return today. Within 2 days, I get intimation. Because in my return, there is no a lady. No lady comes to me. In my return, a lady. In my return, there is no. See what I meant to say. If there are no corrections, they will not have to do that formality, na? Then let us send email and wait for 30 days. See that sending email, wait for 30 days for the reply of the assessee. That is in cases where RAD adjustments are done. And in many returns, there are no RAD adjustment. Like I am talking about my example, when I file my return, in my return there are no corrections of lady. So after my filing the return, within 3 days I get intimation. That's what I'm saying now. After you file the return, anytime the intimation can come up to the end of that year plus 9 months. So tell me, if I file the return today, what is today's day? 3rd December. So when can I get the intimation? Today I filed a return. I can file return on 3rd December, belated return. Till 31st December, na? So I filed the return today. Let's assume it was belated. So by when I can get the intimation? Anytime after today, I can get tomorrow. It is as fast as tomorrow also, because it is computerized. My return has gone, they will send intimation and they don't have to physically post me. Email. Tomorrow also I can get the intimation. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow, till the end of this year. What is the end of this year? March. After March, add 9 months. Let us count 9 months. April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Till 31st December next year, I can get intimation. It looks like 9 months, but actually the time is big. Because 9 months is counted from end of the year. But actually intimation I can get immediately also. You know, here many students have a doubt. Sir, why do we say 9 months from the end of the year return is filed? Why can't we say 9 months from the end of AY? If you say 9 months from the end of AY, you will get 0 in exam. I know it's hurting, but you will get wrong. You cannot write 9 months from the end of AY. Answer why? Wait, I want everyone should think. Because if one answer will come, others will have no motivation to think. My question you understood? 9 months, why are we not counting from the end of AY? I didn't say 9 months from the end of AY. 9 months from the end of the year in which the return was filed. I know that doubt of 12 months will also come. You know that 12 months of last lecture? I will clarify. Don't worry. I know all your doubts in advance. But I have to go step by step. You need to keep patience. First, I want to know about this thing. Why don't I say 9 months from the end of AY? Why I'm saying 9 months from the end of the return is filed? Perfect. Even he was saying the same thing. Okay, let me give the credit to him also. Okay. See, if I say 9 months from the end of AY, you know what is the defect in the sentence? Many times in the AY, your return was not filed only. And unless you file the return, how will the computer process? See, don't forget the computer has the input of return. Input means you input the return. And many times, you know, in the whole AY, your return was not filed. And without you filing the return, how will computer process your return? Tell me, is it possible you didn't file the return in the whole AY? Possible. Many people, they don't file on their own. They file when AO demands. And AO can demand the return even after AY. See here. See, generally, if you file the return on your own, on your own, that so you will have to do latest by 31st December of the AY. But that is people filing on their own, na? But everyone do not do on their own. Sometimes AO has to remind you, dear, you are sleeping. Your due date has gone. You didn't file the return. Please file the return. So imagine AO sent me a RAI notice, and that also he sent me in this 12 months period. It is possible or not? And in response to the notice under 142.1, I filed the return. So my return has only gone so late. The processing will also happen late. See, this Bangalore team, where the software is located, they are totally dependent on the return. If you file the return in AY, processing will start fast. If you file the return after AY, processing will start late. So that's what the law says. 9 months depends upon when your return has come. Because in 9 months we want to send intimation. And for intimation the return has to come. So depending upon when your return comes, the 9 months is counted. Okay. But see, one more doubt will come. But sir, okay, take this example, then doubt will come. Let's assume I filed the return in a year which is after AY. When did I file the return? AY or after AY? Firstly, do you agree it's possible? On your own you cannot. On your own, latest is 31st December. Let's assume AO had demanded. And AO can demand or not by sending RAI notice. That AO can do any time. So I filed the return. But now you know, when will intimation come? Okay, let's assume the date also. Let's assume this date was 9th of October. So intimation can come when? Can you see the drawing I have done? Anytime till end of the year. And even after the end of the year, 9 more months are there. But here what doubt you will get? But sir, your 9 months is going beyond the 12 months. Please don't bring this 12 months here. 12 months is the deadline for the real assessment. Real. But summary is as good as no assessment. That is time pass. Actually, in our local language, you can say it is time pass. It is not a main assessment. Yes, when it's a main assessment means some human being will be behind you. Some Mr. Assessing Officer, Mr. Mishra, Mr. Sharma, Mr. Pandey, some human being will be behind you. Honestly show your income. He will be drilling you. That real assessment has a deadline of 12 months. But our computer in Bangalore, it doesn't have the deadline of 12 months. So even if this 9 months goes beyond 12 months, let it go. Because in this 9 months, what is being sent is intimation. And intimation is a sign of summary. And summary assessment is as good as no assessment. So why to worry? Let it go beyond. See that 12 months thing, which I have started saying from my last lecture only. That is for the main assessment. What do I mean by main assessment? Look. This thing, these are the main assessment. This has a deadline. But summary, it is a time pass. It has a deadline of 9 months. And see, this 12 months, wait, let me write and show. This and this, what did I say? They are time pass or main assessment. Here 12 months is from the end of AY. Because here they don't depend upon the return. Here the AOs are having such attitude, to hell with your return. If your return is not there, I will calculate the income as per my judgment. So here it is not depending upon when are you filing the return. It is from the end of AY. Within 12 months from the end of AY. But what about summary? 9 months. It is return dependent because this is computer work. And computer has to process your return. So 9 months from the end of the year in which return is filed. Okay. But don't take 9 months so seriously. Although from exam point of view, remember, seriously means I mean to say it's not the main assessment. The main thing is regular and base judgment. Now what is regular, what is base, I will come to that. But right now I wanted to clarify that the 12 months which I have been saying since my last lecture, that is for the main assessment, okay? Which is what we say in real life scrutiny, okay? Okay, summary assessment is still going on. Look at this. See, you will notice one thing. So many time limits will come. One day you will start cribbing. What nonsense. 9 months, 3 months, 12 months, 180 days. I am fed up. You will get frustrated. But trust me, at that time you will remember the importance of revise and come. Right now, every lecture when I will be insisting, please revise, I might be messaging on WhatsApp also. You might find it funny because you have not seen the future days. I have seen so many such future days in so many of my past batches or so many of my years of experience. So trust me, that time you will feel every lecture revising is must. And sir asking us question is also must. Otherwise, soon after some time you will be meshed in the time limit. And in MCQ, they test frequently this time limits. Right now it has just started. You see, so many time limits will come. One more thing about time limit. One thing is you have to remember a lot. Second thing is all the time limits are from the end of the year. Like you heard, 9 months from the end of the year. I didn't say 9 months from the date of filing the return. It's never from the date of filing the return. Because date of filing return can be odd date. Some people file the return on 23rd July. Some people file on 29th July. So many people filing return on different dates. And if 9 months is counted from date to date, their department will go mad. See, they have to remember dates. Just as when you do articleship, your boss has asked you to remember 30th September, audit, 31st July, filing return. In articleship, this culture is there or not? When we do the work of the client, we remember certain dates. So even government has to remember the dates. And remembering becomes simple if the counting is from the end of the year. Now whether you filed a return on 9th June, 10th November, 4th December, the end of the year will be March. And from that, if 9 months is calculated, it will come to some even date. Okay. And by the way, 9 months expires on December 31. Did you count?
Yes.
So, this Bangalore team, they have to just keep in mind, whenever 31st December is nearing, they have to finish all the work. Because it becomes like a deadline for them. I'm just sharing that after some time you will be shocked. Why all the time limits are not counted from the exact date? Why this from the end of the year? So that logic I shared. Okay. Answer this question if you understood the concept thoroughly. Try this. A person had filed the return before the due date. Okay. And after he filed the return, he received intimation. What is R? Return. What is I? Intimation. So he filed the return, he received the intimation. But he wanted to revise the return. Sometimes you feel your written is wrong
Yeah.
and you want to revise the written.
Yeah.
So now, can he revise?
Yes. Before 31st December.
See, we people are lazy, you know. We file the return and we think we will revise. And the computer in Bangalore, it is running on horse. It is so fast. The moment you file the return, they will send the intimation. And assess is shocked. Why the hell you have given me the intimation? I want to revise the return. So can he revise? Such question has come in paper. Huh? Can he revise?
After intimation. To reply to intimation, we get 30 days in that.
No, no.
We can.
Intimation is received. See that 30 days you are mixing up. 30 days is for what? If they are planning to do already, before already they will give us time of 30 days. All that has happened. Let's assume there was no already, etc. They have sent intimation only. Didn't I say here there are two emails? First email is before already, other email is after already. Before, after, remember that is the best way. First email was before already, you are informed. We are doing already. Any problem? Tell us. You have 30 days. That was a mail before already. But after that 30 days they will wait, na? And after already the main email is intimation. And see, everyone will not get the first email. First email is given only when there is some potential adjustments. But as I told, many people file the return. There is nothing like already. See, when a student studies, they feel, you know, as if every return is subject to already. See, we study minutely. But in real life, many returns, there is nothing like already. Directly the intimation comes. Come to the main point. The intimation came and I wanted to revise. Tell me, what is the limitation for revising the return? Time limit? No, I don't trust you. I will show you. I don't trust. See here. Look. When can you revise the return? Either up to 31st December or before completion assessment, whichever is earlier. So in our case, you received intimation. So intimation means assessment is done. Yes. Intimation should not be counted as. See, in this theory, when I said 31st December, completion assessment, whichever is earlier, your assessment means main assessment, main. Intimation is time pass. Don't count only as assessment. So if your client is worried, that dear CA, I received intimation but I wanted to revise. Tell him chillax, relax. It's okay. This is the mechanical computer process. They will send intimation, throw it in the dustbin. Okay? You want to revise, you revise. You still have time till 31st of December. You can revise. And once again they send intimation. Once again you want to revise, throw the intimation in dustbin. Once again you revise. Because that intimation is as good as no assessment. And if your assessment is not done only, till 31st December you are open to revise anything. See this, if your concept is clear, you can answer. But you know, when such question come in exam, people are worried. What kind of paper they ask? We don't understand. Why don't they understand? Because their concepts are not clear. That's why I insist on one thing only. Understand everything will concept. Because you know, CA final has no boundary. They can put anything from anywhere. And some things are not in your control only. What you can control is, if your concepts are clear, let them ask anything. You will be able to answer, provided your concepts are clear. But nowadays many people just mug up. In fact, teachers also are such nowadays. I have seen. They ask the student, you by heart like this. But see, if the syllabus is of school or college level, you can by heart and manage also. But this is CA exam. If you simply by heart and something comes out of the box, then You're gone. Anyways, what was my question here? Where did that page go? Wait. Can we revise? Yes. So see what I've written. See, something will come here. Look. Revise. Can you see tick mark? You can. But obviously not beyond. Means I am assuming in my example 31st December has not yet come. I can still revise. So this completes summary assessment. So check the status of the chapter. Huh? See, now I will show this summary. Huh? Means my initial summary was like this. Huh? Same thing I have put in a flowchart form. See this returns, inquiry and assessment. Only thing is other sections are independent sections. So are not kept in the flowchart. So see this same thing in a flowchart. Where is the flowchart here? Yeah. So this we have done. Inquiry we have done. Assessment is still going on. In that summary assessment is done. This is pending, this is pending, and this is super important theory. You know, this will go very successful provided up till this theory whatever is taught is memorized. And see, if you come like this only, okay, I'll understand, I will study later on. If you just understand and go, this will be terrible for you. Okay. And let me tell you, having a command over this theory itself is a feeling of pride. When you work in articleship in front of CA, if you talk everything about this, you will feel proud. Even your CA might not be knowing so much in depth. Trust me. But this theory will be successful provided till here everything is by heart. And see, it is not just a matter of pride. In exam also, they ask this only frequently. If you see past papers, these things are rarely asked. Mostly this is asked. So now you will wonder, so directly teach this only, na? That cannot be done, na? You have to go through the whole process. Then you have to reach at the ultimate target. But if I am a paper setter, my favorite question will be from this only. You can see past paper, you will realize this is frequently tested. But this is not understood without this previous explanations. Okay. Anyways, we'll continue tomorrow. Okay, homework I forgot. Wait. Actually, there is a question book which I'll be giving. But till that time, you will have to manage with a PDF. Huh? Wait. Because I cannot. Yeah. Yeah, no, that because for laptop the separate process has to be done, encryption and all that. You know. That's why in app it is seamless. I don't have to do any procedure because that laptop thing, it will involve procedure also. It will involve further cost also. Per student cost is involved like that. And there are so many students. Here only few are there, but there are many video lectures. But soon it is just a question which I am saying are homework. Question number 1. Question which I am saying are homework. Question number 1. See, the idea of giving the sums is what you know. See, in my question book, I have devised the question in such a manner that every lecture when I am explaining a particular theme, same thing should be revised with the help of a question. All the questions are customized to my lecture. Like see, till now we have done 2 lectures. Last lecture and today's lecture. And in last and today's lecture, whatever I have taught, you will be able to experience in the form of a question. So all the questions are customized in that manner only. See, if I would have taken random question, so many times the question will not match my explanation. And it is necessary for me to give a question which matches with the explanation so that you can apply the knowledge also. So see, such questions are question 1, question 2. Question 3. 4. Small question, don't worry. That's it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me check. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 questions are homework. Okay. See, I know you will be worried that, sir, how to write such answers. You do whatever you can do at your level best. Because my strategy is what, every lecture first I will assign the homework, try on your own to the best of your level. And then in the next lecture I will discuss. Every sum I am going to discuss in detail. And that time I will guide you. But see, directly if I start solving the sum, you will not have the impact. First a student should try on his own. And then when the knowledge comes from the teacher, it will create an impact. It will have a lasting memory. Okay. But first you will have to try. But don't think that by giving the homework, I am just escaping from my work. My work is not reducing. Next lecture, all these 4 questions, I will have to discuss in detail. But first you will have to try it on your own. Try means not just casually, as if it's your exam paper. Treat every lecture is like a test. Imagine these 4 questions have come in exam. How will you write? See why I am telling this, because in my previous batches, students used to tell me, sir, we just tried roughly. What roughly? You try as if it's your exam paper. Try honestly, to the best of your level. And then my explanation will be having an impact. Okay. So 4 questions or homework. And till the time you physically get the book, this PDF I will share. Today only in the WhatsApp. Okay. Bye. Revise and come. Revise and come. Please revise and come. Please do the homework and come. Please do the homework and come. Underline please. Oh, many happy returns of day. Coincidentally, today is my wife's birthday also. Yesterday was my birthday. This was done by my students. Yeah, no one wished me, na. No one bothered also. Sir, it is whose birthday? Na? I was so sad. My birthday became sad day. Happy birthday became sad happy birthday. So everyone went like this only. No one asked me also. Yeah. Yeah. Name. Full name. Nishi, na? Nishi. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Nishi. Happy birthday to you. May God bless you. May you pass in first attempt with rank. Great. I love December month because first is my birthday, 2nd December, 3rd December my wife's birthday. Yeah. No, actually Sunday